is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind. Flying, get on board. We're soaring on top of
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
head back to the map again. Most of you know where we started off and where we've been to, so I'm going to concentrate more at the west side of the States. So yeah, I think where we were last at was somewhere around here, the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon, we went up to Las Vegas, and stayed just outside a place called Lake Mead. And then from Vegas, we dropped down to Barstow. Now going across here was the Mojave Desert, and that was probably the hottest day we've had. It was really, really baking. So much so we probably had about 8 pints of water between the two of us from start to finish. And stayed out just outside a place called Barstow. Now this shows you the incredible range of how things change in the States. We stayed at Barstow, and then we climbed up to, as you can see here, Big Bear Lake. And it's probably about 2,000 metres up, and we went from t-shirts, sun cream, to, by the time we got up to Big Bear Lake, it was very cold. There was still snow around, and it was peeing down with rain. So yeah, massive change from over the period of about 2 hours. After Big Bear Lake, we made it down and stayed just south of Los Angeles, and this is near where Steve lives. So we had one trip back up into Los Angeles to go and see Zinger cars, and then came back down again. But once we left LA, we came down, and then we followed the coast road up to Los Angeles, went and saw the Hollywood sign, which you see the pictures of, and then we stayed just outside LA at a place called Oxnard. We stayed there near an Airbnb. Following day, the Route 1's the one that goes all the way up the coast, and that's really what the route we wanted to do. So we made our way up, as you can see, and stayed just outside the place called Cambria. And following morning, the plan was to go all the way up the one here. As you see, there's no black line there. We went up to see the elephant seals, and that's about as far as we could go because the road was closed. We couldn't go up to Big Sur, which is a bit disappointing. So we had to backtrack a little bit, unfortunately, and then go up the 101. And eventually, once we got past Monterey, we could get back onto the one again, and we're all the way up now to San Francisco. Now, this part of the map, when you compare it to all the way across, in relative terms, it doesn't look that far where you're going from south of Los Angeles to up to San Francisco, but to put it into sort of English terms, that's the equivalent of going from London up to Edinburgh. So you can see it's a bit of a hike, just that part of the map. So from here now, we're going to probably go up a little bit further up into San Francisco, go over the Golden Gate Bridge, and then we're heading over towards Yosemite. Okay.